And Pam is not here, but everyone else is.
Right.
Can you just repeat that?
Oh, got it. Yep, I can do
'Cause I
that.
just started the recording.
Okay.
Hey, we're recording.
Okay.
All right.
We have no public here tonight. The minutes from last meeting are right here in the packet. Does anyone have a
No, they're very small, very slight.
correction or addition? I read it when you sent it, but now I.
Well, it's not
I
much,
can't
there's not
remember.
much here.
Too many
Not
things
much.
going on.
I think it was, I don't know if we had anything that we corrected earlier or not.
I don't think there's.
No.
Sometimes we do. So we have those, but technically we also have the DPL Building Committee Board of Trustee meeting also. So there's two. There's one
Okay.
right behind that one.
So we're
That's
okay with
One
that.
at a time.
The minutes, I
Okay.
will move to
Does that,
accepting.
anyone have a
Oh.
correction or addition to the minutes?
Hold on, not yet. I was just scrolling through them.
Those are the November 5th, right?
November 9th.
Oh, 9th. Oh, my God, my eyes are getting worse.
It's okay. I know they're kind of gray,
Well,
right?
no, but my eyes are getting worse.
Oh, I bet, yeah, mine too, but,
Well,
yeah, but yours are good.
visually impaired.
All right.
If
Wait,
no one
wait a minute.
objects, I will move to accept the minutes of November 9th.
Okay, that's good. And I'll second.
And Pat is seconding. So Scott moved to accept and Pat is seconding. I suppose you can start yelling it.
Okay, we
The
all,
microphone.
we have to do a PM, so we all have to say we agree.
Oh, to be all in favor.
Okay. All in favor?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, president's report.
and the piece, is that including the?
So,
minutes from
I
the
think
building
that-
committee?
I don't know.
What?
I think possibly a second. Could you also write in here that we had we should accept the meetings minutes from December 9th also? Wow, it was
Oh, well, wait a minute.
exactly a
Those are-
month
that's not
after?
previous- That's not a previous board meeting though,
Oh,
because this is for a board.
Yeah.
but when do these get accepted?
Well, we
Well,
can
it's
put that, we
not.
can put them in the minutes, but we can't put them as accepted in the minutes here. You know, what I mean, we can't put it,
It can be in addition to the
I mean,
minutes,
we,
right?
we can do that.
Okay.
Today.
Correct,
We can
okay.
accept it, but we can't.
This one is, you just did.
We just did that. That's the November 9th. We just
9th.
accept. So that's all we do right now.
Perfect.
Yes,
All right, now we go to president's report.
no, I do not have a report.
Okay,
Although I will say that the building committee, the people who came, they were excellent. Anyone who didn't get to see
Yeah,
it or
they
hear
were.
it. And they didn't bring any polka dotted weird paper or flooring or anything.
No, pretty classic.
It was pretty classic, exactly.
Oh,
Light
I
and
was,
bright
I was,
and,
I was so looking forward to the Peter Max theme for the
well,
library.
you're out of luck there, Scott. Oh, your tree looks nice behind
It
you.
does, it looks nice.
Well,
Is that
thank you.
really your room or is that just the one you found?
No, it's not a virtual. This is where I actually am.
Very nice.
It
looks
nice to have
serene.
some atmosphere behind you.
So do you want me to write that in your president's report?
I guess you can say.
What,
that.
did you,
Just
the
they
meeting,
commented
what was
on
it,
the-
December 9th, right?
on
Correct.
the meeting, the building committee meeting,
Building
that
com-
was
No,
know,
committee.
they brought
committee.
good things. Okay, we're on to the financial report.
Nothing really outstanding to report, really.
I have just two questions or clarifications.
Mhm.
What is $175 to the United County Health Department?
That is
Under-
for our food permit, our, to serve food and
Oh.
programming and things like that, yeah.
The popcorn
That's an-
machine and a Keurig machine is
It's
a
an
big deal
annual,
apparently to the health department.
Yes,
that's
it's
an annual fee?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, no, I just was hoping it wasn't monthly.
Oh,
And,
it's annual, yes.
Under building and maintenance, I'm getting the hiccups here, excuse me, the $15,000 plus under capital development,
That was a
Like-
development. What page is it?
I don't know.
Sally, where are you looking? Where did you find that?
What page?
well, I don't know.
Was that on the
didn't-
abstract of claims that you're looking,
Was it-
or?
Whatever you
Shars?
sent me, yes.
Okay,
Those must
that
be-
is for the architects. Designers, right, April? That's homes.
It's for the architects who've been drawing the, what will be part of the bid package.
Mhm.
So all the drawings that they've been doing.
Right,
And
okay.
Is that her final fee, or what have we paid to date?
I can probably pull up the bill. I think it's somewhere around, the total is supposed to be like 21,300, something like that. I can look for the bill.
And why we wait, that meeting last week, it only lasted an hour, but it was supposed to go for 3 hours?
I don't think so, was it?
I don't think it was supposed to I may have, all we had was that it started at 1:30. And
I
we
had
didn't know how
someplace-
long it
I
would
got
last.
something that said it would go to 4:30.
I also did receive something that indicated that was the length of the meeting.
That it might last that
Well,
long.
maybe she thought we were gonna object to everything and have to start over.
Miss
I
Mary-
don't know why it was that long. I guess we should have said to start and then to be determined. I think we just went through. And there wasn't a lot of discussion because the things that she selected or they selected were appealing, I guess. I don't know why it was that long. I'm sorry. Maybe we just allotted that much time in case there was discussion as opposed to the meeting ending and we'd have to restart. I think Mark just gave us 3 hours so that we wouldn't run out of time.
It's only about an hour.
And just to bring to your attention, I did have my hand raised, whatever you want to say something, and I wasn't responded to on that. The meeting ended and my hand was still up, so.
Your hand is raised right now. So I think it was.
Well, that's
I
because
think
I
Mark
had,
emailed you and then we didn't know. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say, I couldn't really
I didn't
see
see
very well what you were showing. How do you like this and how do you like that? The camera is so far away from what you were doing. It was, I don't
Yes,
know.
think
It was
probably-
about
it
where Sue is.
Probably was difficult to see.
And we did, and they were tiny, things were tiny. So it would be kind of like me holding up the pen and it is. We don't have those samples to be seen right now. They took them back with them. So pretty much it was like a walnut color floor was, if you look at the virtual room that Mark has up, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of a darker color, the color of the woodwork in Dunham House is what was selected for the offices, and then neutrals and a little bit of blue was put in it. So blues and creams and that sort of color scheme is what it is.
And the wallpaper.
And there was a
It
wallpaper
was
that,
all very neutral
yeah.
and light colored, which is what we needed.
Yeah.
are we still waiting for that information or what?
I have it.
Oh.
It says construction documents, agreed fee, $25,890. So that 15,000 is a portion of that. And then we'll have to pay the rest at another time.
But
Right, but we've been working that down over the course of the year or so. So that
Right.
had to do with different.
The last bill said 21,300, which is what I had said before. That one ended. This is a new, I don't know if it's a new phase or what.
Sally.
What?
Many of the things that she showed us had really nothing to do with us. They had to do with the Dunham House where the employees needed to make up a decision about their offices. And so like Sue and I and Pam, we kind of let them decide what they would like the best because we'll never be up there to do it. So a lot of the things that were chosen, we left it up to the employees, and there were about 3 or 4 of them were here.
Yes,
And they-
well, it says who was here.
Yeah, so they agreed on what they thought from the choices that we were given. We felt was necessary for them to make the decision rather than us, because they have to live in it, not us.
Right, so I was here and then Shar, and we had Kim Rudwall, Rosemary Manley, Christina Panisha, and also I should say Janae was here briefly. She was here enough to, she kind of popped in and looked at the samples and liked them and left. So she might not have been here to sign in. Okay, so to get back to your question about the dollar amount, there was a, so there was the original document, and so we had money being spent out of that for the architects, but this particular one, because it had to do with drawings for the bid package and time spent on that, that was the professional fees that were included in the construction grant that was part of the construction grant, because that is 8 of them. So that is, there were $70,000 was put in to the construction grant for those documents to be created, and that's part of that. So if that helps. So the original was for her to look through, and there was kind of like a building survey 2.0 was done by this architectural firm. And then from that, they helped us to get the wording and the project going that had to do with how we wrote the construction grant. And then those professional fees that will go with and are also paid for by the construction grant. This is with Proposition 2 and the New York State construction grant, this Dunham House project is paid for. It's nothing is coming out of really our operating or our fund balance for this particular thing. I mean, there might be a few things if we run over, but very little of it is coming out of that money.
Right. I need to,
Well, we're still in the financial report
Yes,
here.
we-
Correct.
need to-
Sally had a question
Okay,
about, and
so
so
the
he answered that.
expenditure revenue reports for October 2021.
right, and we need to approve
Where
that.
where is that?
That is this document right here?
The one that you gave me?
Right here in
Yes,
front.
you have it, and it's front and back.
Oh, the front and back. Wait a minute.
So this is the percentage through the year. So we are, this is our first month, so
Let me
we're
find that.
8% through the year.
Yeah, I'm looking for it, but I don't have it.
You do. Let me help you find it.
Right,
If you don't have it, I have Char's
Right,
packet here.
here.
so.
I got that.
Oh, this is your, okay, it should be
Oh, it's in here. with
in
this.
there.
Oh,
This is what you're gonna sign
Oh.
later. These are the
Oh,
two.
I'm sorry. I didn't
You're
look at
good.
it. All right, so
A
that
lot
would be
going on.
that's the first thing that we need to approve, or what?
Yes, the financial reports.
Well, there's 2 things here. It says
Right.
Expenditures
Yeah,
and
that's-
revenues.
Right, that's the first one.
That's
We
the
need to-
4-page document that
That's-
Char puts together.
That one here, this one?
The one that, no, that's going to be your abstract of claims.
All right, so this is what, I just gotta know what to put in the minutes here.
Okay, so that would be your expenditures and revenues report for October 2021,
Okay, so
which
that's
is
this.
this one.
Right,
So we need to approve that, right?
yes, so
Yes.
I will move that we
Okay.
approve the expenditure and revenue report for October. Do we have a second?
Sue,
I'll second.
Sue, and then.
Any objections?
And I can say C attached, right?
Yeah. And now we need to approve the abstract of claims.
All right.
Which was the question, Sally had the question for
That's what- that's what
15,000,
we-
so
I
that,
got waylaid because I.
that's all right. And
Okay,
so that's,
80,
do you see the total amount?
yeah, 84,000.
Yep,
Right.
Well,
And
I can keep this
take a
one.
minute and fill that document out for us. So
Okay.
yes, we're not in a hurry. We're gonna be done by
I could've
6:30
been-
probably.
Reactivated,
Today is the 14th.
and approved claims totaling this amount, right?
Mhm.
84,000, make sure I can see this right, 857?
Let me look.
Yeah, 857, because you know my
That
glasses.
sounds about right.
I see, I don't see.
That's
the
all right. It's
52.
84857 52 cents.
Okay.
And then if you would sign it,
And I put the,
and I don't know if you,
I just.
you're not the secretary, but you are for today.
Okay, that's 12.
Okay, can we have a motion to accept the abstracted claims from November 10th to December 14th?
I'll second.
Okay, wait, who,
Okay,
did you accept it?
I didn't.
Okay.
but yeah, I made the
So-
motion, yes.
All right,
Sue's making
Sue-
motions,
Sue
Scott's
and
seconding.
Scott's already doing it. All right, so I'm just gonna put recording secretary, I'm gonna put.
Yeah,
What do I put?
Okay.
You're a trustee, but,
Well,
or,
I know, but I just put, what do you do when you're taking over somebody's place? What's the word you use?
substitute, I don't know what. She's filling in.
Because I'm
For
not board
PM.
secretary,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
know.
board secretary, so I need to put.
So,
Recording secretary.
but I would just say, you could just say trustee after your name, maybe?
yeah.
How about that?
I forgot what I did last time.
Pat Samarco, comma, trustee. I mean, all of our documents know, you know, who you are.
Okay, so
And
that's.
Okay, so
done.
I'm gonna take that, give it to
That's
Shar in the
Might
morning.
come in around-
Wait, did I take that amount?
You just take a minute to write it down.
Oh, all right.
I barely hear them.
So it's
84,
857
857,
decimal point 52.
52. Okay, so now we have both.
Okay,
Both those
Okay.
documents done?
Okay.
and we're on to the director's report.
Right, which is pretty much just normal go-to meetings and that sort of thing. We continue to have a virtual directors meeting if there isn't a DAC meeting or an off DAC meeting. I have attended, there's money flowing. So there's an ARPA, which is ARPA, and it's an acronym for something, and I could look it up, but I didn't write it down. It's monies coming through CLRC, and we're working on that collaboration between Munson Williams Proctor Art Institute, and they're really doing most of it. They need to pair themselves with a library, and they chose us. Yay. So we're working on that with them. That money isn't come through yet, so it's kind of, we're as far along as we can be. Occasionally, I do attend some of these. New York State has put together from their archives, they do some workshops. I started it, I did most of it, but then Herm came and talked to me about construction grants, so. Trustee, I did actually attend a little of this tonight too, but it's going on at the same time. The trustee handbook book club. So those are recorded, those are meant for trustees, but they're quite valuable to me too. There was a DAC meeting. And again, that was something, there's a lot of open meeting law, how long is it gonna be? Of putting things on the website. We're pretty fortunate that we've always done this. We've always posted our minutes to the website. They've been there. The changes that we would post the agenda and all of those things. Thus, I've got draft document going on our things now because I don't want to post it ahead of time. We need to
Right.
post it 2 weeks after the meeting. And we used to just put it up when we already voted on it and it was done. So we are putting all these documents up just in case somebody wants to join our meeting and they know what we're going to talk about ahead of time, which isn't a bad thing. So that was the majority of what we talked about at that. And I did attend a North Utica Whitestown Rotarians funeral, Michelle Ward, and it was sad. She was younger than me. It was just wrong. R4K meeting, I do go to those monthly, and it's, you know, what's going on in the school district, how can we help? There's grants that go on and, we're thought about. And so I like to be at that table. So hopefully we'll have we'll continue that. Something's going on. She's like, good meeting, good news. So there's one Thursday. We'll see what's going on. I did meet with Fatima. She works at night, so it's, to touch base with her more. She does work with her colleagues, but I did talk to her to make sure all is going well because she's new. And it's a bit overwhelming, but there's a lot. There's a lot to working here. You think, oh, we were just checking books out, but it can be
Now, what does she
confusing.
do?
She works at the circulation desk mostly, puts books away. She's a page. So entry level, yeah, and she's doing okay. And we have Books of Our Lives Book Club is continuing. Pam's part of that too, and Janae and Jamie. It's a nice large group. We actually, just to pause on that, we did postpone a lot of our staff-led program because of the mask. We've had a mask mandate for our staff and our public since the beginning, really. We never dropped it. But it is a requirement now for everyone starting Monday. So we did, and New Hartford did too, New Hartford closed their community room from now until further notice, but we're allowing some of our groups right now and giving them, we created a document saying, be super careful. Remember, keep wearing your mask, which they did. Everybody's been quite respectful of our rules, but we're, reiterating, stay a little farther apart. And, a lot of them wanted to have Christmas party things. And we said, okay, we're just cut it in bite size, scoot back. The groups are smaller and this is a big room. So scoot back, eat your piece of pizza, put your mask back on kind of thing. And then,
No.
but we really encourage you not to have food.
Is that the book? Now what?
I'm sorry,
What kind of books do you read?
We read something that's less than 300 pages. I don't know what the
Book of Our Lives.
Books of Our Lives is just one of our book clubs. Yeah, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent.
How many people are in there?
I think there's 20 or so,
Wow.
depending on how many come, but it's a lot.
And
So
what
thus
time of the day is that?
thus we paused. 2:00. Our next meeting will be in January 25th, I want to say.
Yeah, remember Pat, we talked
We were
about.
gonna
coming
talk.
to
Yeah,
that.
it's Tuesday, but
We're
we'll
gonna wait
see how
because-
it goes because the infection rate's pretty high. So we just wanted to pause
We have a meeting before that.
that. Yes, we'll have another meeting. Okay. So
Hello, I have a
Southern Army,
question. I have a
yes,
question. Regarding,
Sarah.
regarding the community room there,
Mhm.
can you check with the health department since we have this permit on, their advice of still serving food, with the current changes in restaurants and other places?
Restaurants can still serve, you're sitting down, you
Yeah,
can,
but are you clearing everybody to see that they're vaccinated then?
we don't have to.
No.
They have to wear a
If you're
mask
ser-
walking
if
in
you're
the
serving
door.
food, I think you do, if you're acting like a restaurant.
No.
You have to wear a mask when you walk in the door, and then once you're seated, you don't have to wear a mask after that, but they do. We really are saying if you,
You've been vaccinated.
No.
That's if
no,
you've been
people who are not
vaccinated.
vaccinated can still eat in
That's right.
public restaurants.
Yes,
Well,
Not that makes sense, but
no.
That-
New York
that is
City-
my
you
understanding.
have to be pretty crazy to do that.
New York City is
Unvaccinated
the,
people can go to the ICU at the hospital and visit people. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not my rule. It's just the way it is.
Right.
Okay, so I did Rotary. I've
Can
been
you
really
look
busy with
into that,
Rotary.
please?
Pardon me?
Can you please check with the health department on that?
I know.
No, I know it. I know restaurants are open because I was at one today.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
that is true.
So you can. I mean,
our
you can't walk
entire-
around, but once you're
Is
seated,
is our entire staff fully vaccinated?
I can't share that information.
Well, how can we, then we have to assume nobody's vaccinated. That would be the case then.
I
If
guess
you can't
so.
tell us that everybody is, we'd have to assume nobody is. to be safe to the public.
Correct.
So
So
in that
everyone
case,
who
I don't
works
think you
here,
can have
we
any
always,
food in that.
we have to wear masks. Here, we all wear, our staff all
Okay.
wears masks unless you're sitting down and eating. That is
And what kind of
that is the New York
masks are
State
they?
rule right now.
Are they N95 masks?
No.
No, but that's not the requirement
That's not
either.
required.
I can't enforce more than is required.
Can we move
I-
along?
I'll check with the health department on my own.
All right, well, let us know.
Okay, we do know. All right,
Well,
so, and then I did substitute for preschool story time. It was delightful.
Oh,
It required a lot of energy, but we created, well, actually, the children and their parents created menorahs. It was lovely. Kim actually prepared everything. All I did was read. So, but it was fun. We had a business office meeting to try to figure out, because really there's a lot going on in there and we need to figure out how to have someone help us. So we had a meeting about that. We'll let you know when we come up with a solution. Let's see. Oh, and there's a lot of CLRC advocacy meetings in here. I met with quite a few different people who represent our area. I won't go into each individual one, made a bank deposit, but it's good news. They all encouraged us to ask for, or even increase our ask for funding for libraries. So we're like, okay, we will do that.
That's
So
good.
NYLA is, they are the ones who figure out our budget. So we're hoping that last year, I believe, I should know this off the top of my head, I think we had 34 million for the whole state for construction grant, and they're asking for 45. So we're going to be ready for a super duper construction grant yet again, if that much funding comes through. And so hopefully there'll be strong library funding this year. So that was the gist we got. And then there are so many webinars, but this happened to be one, the trauma informed. And you know, it's interesting because I'm one of those that always, I don't know, didn't understand very well because I pretty much lived this Pollyanna life. So it's good for me to be exposed to people's trauma and those sorts of things. And so I attended that. We had our building committee meeting, which we talked about earlier, more advocacy, sustainability. SIG stands for, I think it's just basically a group that meets. So it's a thing that I'm big on, trying to figure out environmentally friendly ways to do anything. So when we're even talking about charging stations in libraries, legislators are very interested in that because they need to put them in a meaningful place in the community. Like if we did one for the village of Whitesboro, who wants to sit down by the village of Whitesboro offices and charge their car? But they'd like to sit here because there's something to do while you're waiting, right? So libraries are a perfect place to charge your car while you're waiting. So government officials are looking at libraries for that. So it's kind of a neat idea. Maybe
Good
we would
idea.
just handle it all and just put it in our
Right,
parking lot.
they pay for it.
Right, actually, there is money to be made, not a lot, because you use a card and say, I don't know, I'm just gonna go with you, collect $1 and 50 cents goes to the company that the credit card is connected to, and then they send you the 50 cents. So you don't lose money in the transaction. The library wouldn't lose money. It's not a fundraiser per se, but it should be a little bit of enhancement to make you want to do it, but not, it won't cost you money. There's I know Herkimer Library has one, Oneida. How many charging stations would we have?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what we do. Usually one post would have 2.
Yeah.
And so maybe we would do, depending, there might be a formula. Oh, you've got so many parking spaces.
Might be a lot more.
Right. So maybe you could have 4
Yeah.
charging stations. And I think it would be out here. We thought about it because it's close to the electrical
Oh.
and it's a place where you wouldn't walk over you don't
Yeah.
want it where there's a sidewalk. because you don't want to walk over it's
Right.
a tripping hazard. So anyway, that's something, and that's always in the sustainability meeting too. More advocacy efforts, and today we had the Tuesdays at 10, and we did talk about digital navigators, and that's something that there's grant money for. With a literacy group, it's of Central New York, and we would just, if there was a volunteer, they would provide the computer, and hopefully we would arrange for volunteer, but it wouldn't be, again, any of our staff providing this digital literacy. It would be through the grant to have it happen. So that's more ARPA money that we were talking about. And I don't think there was anything new. It was it was only a half-hour meeting, so it wasn't long. So that's it, really. And I guess I should say that since I don't know what time it was, 4 o'clock maybe, I received the Dunham House bid information. So they're hoping to have us put the bid in the paper. And it's not ready, but in the next few weeks, we would do that. And then on January 5th, there would be a walkthrough with the architects, or architect, probably Julia, the architect, and that would be January 10th at 10 o'clock.
What'd you say January 5th was?
Well, that's when she walks through with the
Walk through with the architect?
with the walkthrough with the future or the potential contractors.
Do I have to write all this?
No.
Oh.
I would say no. Because I don't know why.
Well,
I
I'm just
guess,
gonna say you received it.
just, I guess the bid package is progressing, you could say that. And we'll have a meeting before the bids are due. So the proposal for the bids to be opened would be at 2 o'clock on January 26th. So we could talk more details after our January meeting, right? Because we
Okay.
obviously want you to be there.
This
right?
is old
Okay.
business, right?
April?
Yes.
I'm backtracking just a little bit, but I was a little curious about the trauma-informed library workshop. That was this not just for being aware of how elements of your collection might affect patrons, but did it also go into possibly recognizing signs of trauma in patrons to sort of more be able to sort of be a little bit more aware of when people might need a little bit of assistance, or where you might need to make calls to other professionals?
You know, it was more about library staff and you as a library staff member, basically taking care of yourself and recognizing, and actually just recognizing that certain, I should have taken notes, but it was understanding that we come from different places, right? All of that. And a lot of times it is focused a lot on urban libraries because there are homeless populations, which we don't see as much, because usually, even if we do have someone who's close to being homeless, like that gentleman we had like 2 or 3 months ago, but I was able to call the police, and then they are able to place, I would imagine we have homeless people in this area, but also places that can, enough places to accept homeless people, at least in the cold. So it was more or less a bit of that, and also knowing to journal and making sure there's a lot of that, because COVID is, it's difficult, and it's making sure that you journal, making sure that you get enough rest, and understanding it from at least I was pulling that part of it out myself and understanding that your staff might, I mean, let's face it, school closes, you know, that whole thing. We have staff here with school-age children.
Yep.
And all of a sudden they're like, okay, well, there's a mask mandate. So if they go remote, you know, what am I gonna do? And all of that kind of stuff. And we just say,
Yeah.
okay,
How do you
just
take
put
care
those
of
things to
yourself?
the side. No, you know, there are the Zoom meetings. How are we gonna deal with that? You know, yes, it's okay if you start your day at 6 o'clock, get your emails done, and then all of a sudden you gotta help your child get on to class. And so we are with certain people, fortunately, the staff we have currently have work that they can do from home and or be flexible to work in the evenings a little bit after spouses get home or do some hours on the weekend or whatever we need. I said, just let me know. You know, we have enough to do that you can order books, you can read about which books to do, you can do your webinars. You know, we just need to cover the desk, but then things can be done at home. So being flexible. So that's a lot of it, is just making sure that if it can happen, just let those barriers we used to have, because it was just what we always did. It was understood that you had to be in your seat. And do you? I mean, if you're in front of a computer, we've all figured out that we can have a meeting. We're having a meeting from all over the district here. And it's
Yeah.
kind of, you know, it's frustrating at times. It's frustrating we have masks on. It's really nice that you don't have to have them. You're coming in, you can't see, like Sally, she joined our meeting and it was, you know, probably frustrating because she couldn't see the samples as well, but was part of the conversation. You know, it's not, we're doing what we can, and we just have to just be happy with what we can get out of it. I think that was the gist of it. It's just
Yeah,
like,
I think
just
that's,
let it go.
I
But
think
no, it
that was
wasn't-
very useful.
it wasn't a toolkit necessarily of, you know, maybe you do this first or all of that.
Mhm.
So, so that was what it was about. And I should have said, okay, my director's report's over, and we could have gone into old business. So sorry about that.
Because I'm all mixed up now.
I'm that, so
All right,
feel
now
free,
tell me what-
feel free to organize me.
Wait, this building,
So
well, the bid package is in progress. Where does that go?
why don't, we could put it under old business,
Yeah.
because the construction
Because
grant's
it's
old business.
ongoing.
It
Yeah.
is ongoing, so
Right.
that's good.
So
And
we don't have to put the January walkthrough.
I don't think so, but I
Okay.
think what
Just
you,
put-
what you would need to know is that the bids would be opened on Wednesday, January 26th.
The bids will be open for what?
For the Dunham House renovation?
Did you say what time?
Yes, 2 o'clock. And we could do that virtual too. Yeah, really, maybe we'll all be virtual, who knows?
All right, you got there about the renovation?
I just put the building, the bid package is progressing.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
That's
and on
right.
Wednesday, it's on 26th, the bids for the Dunham House renovation.
will be open
Will be open.
at 2
At 2 o'clock.
PM or whatever, 2 o'clock.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, good.
And that's all we have. for
Pretty
old
much, yeah.
Business, right?
And new business?
I don't think I have any.
Nope, I don't think we do. We're heading toward the end of the year, although it's not the end of the fiscal year, but
No,
it's the
but I
end of
mean,
the calendar year.
most of what I spend my time on is this construction grant right now, but it's gonna get started and,
Yeah.
you know, that's good. This is huge. This is huge. So
It is, it is. Do we have any announcements or communications that we need to hear about?
we've had many Christmas cards, things of that nature, but nothing, and
Yeah.
thank you notes and from different things. We had one of our, Sue Hatch was one of our staff who passed away, and her sister sent thank you notes, because many of our staff went
Right,
to her
Oh.
funerals, that kind of thing.
and there's no public comment. Anybody think we need executive session? I don't think so. So we're ready to adjourn.
Okay. I move that we, I move
Right.
that we adjourn. At what time is it?
It is
6:44.
longer than I thought.
Who wants a second?
I will second.
Oh, Scott will.
Okay, Scott. Well,
Okay, well, the meeting's
Do
adjourned.
they ever have these meetings, trustee meetings in the afternoon in any of the libraries?
Yes.
No, I just wondered. if it was-
Trustee meetings in New Hartford, for example, are every other time. They're in the afternoon. And then they're in the
I
evening.
just wonder like January, February, I don't know.
I think it's up to Scott. We posed this question before, if an afternoon meeting would be something you could do. And I think Scott's the only one working.
Okay.
I mean, working, we all work, right? We all have our jobs and tasks to
Yeah.
do and all that. But
Yeah, the afternoons are a little bit more challenging for me.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
right.
that's all right.
Yeah.
So you
I just
retired,
wondered
but you
with
didn't
the
retire.
winter weather,
I retired, but I did not buy a rocking chair. That is correct.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
that's
good.
what- Scott, I retired 25, after 33 years of teaching, then I went in another 25 years. So I actually didn't retire. I had 61 years. in teaching.
Wow.
I
Right?
actually didn't retire
Incredible.
until
I
3 years
know.
ago when I couldn't walk.
You're
So I
tougher,
retired
you're
twice.
tougher than I am. I retired. I worked part-time for on and off for a year. I said, that's enough. I
Yeah.
want to be outdoors.
61 years.
Outdoors.
I opened up every September.
You okay, Sally?
Yeah, I'm joking, but fine, thank you.
But we can still hear you, so that's a good sign.
Yes.
Can they see us?
Good
Scott
night,
can
all.
see us. And
Right,
yes,
good
everybody
night.
can see
Have
us.
a
I
happy
don't know
holiday,
if
Cheryl.
Sally can-
You all too. Thank you.
I know Sally can hear us. Bye.
Give your mother a Merry Christmas.
Oh.
Yes, Merry
Sally,
Christmas.
can you see us?
Not on the phone. Can't you?
Not
Well,
any
that's why she-
longer.